In this video, we're going to show you how to take a flat yard with no slope that ponds water, that has a true yard drain problem, where it's always muddy, it's always soft, it's hard to mow the grass, you can't let the pets out, you can't let the children go out and play until drought season, you can't get your yard back until a drought. We're going to show you how to take a flat yard with no slope, how to create slope by building a yard drain inside a French drain that goes to an outdoor sump pump system. We're going to show you every single part and piece. This is going to be the most comprehensive video ever for yard drainage. If you watch this in its entirety and you come armed with a shovel and some ambition, you could DIY this project yourself. We're going to show you everything that you need to fix a yard water problem like this. We want to take care of both the surface water as well as the subsurface water. So we are going to have perforated pipe at the bottom of the trench, but we want a solid pipe for our inline catch basins. The inline catch basins are going to catch all the water at the surface. We're going to use our new 6-inch inline catch basin. We have a new grate that has more inlet than any other 6-inch grate on the market, and we have the system where as the trench gets deeper and your pipe has more slope, you add spacers. We have 1.5-inch risers, and we're going to show you how we set these yard drains to grade. Everything is a quick connect. We wanted this to be DIY friendly. We wanted it to be cost effective to the contractor. We wanted to have a system that required minimal tools, and it was trouble free. You come armed with a shovel and some ambition, and you can put in a French drain, yard drain combination like this. The 6-inch riser for our 6-inch grate is made out of HDPE. It has a flange. The flange gets caught in the backfill. When you backfill with dirt and stone, it'll allow the riser to stay anchored properly. So when you pull the grate off, the riser doesn't come with it. The 6-inch grate is the most aggressive grate on the market. We have such a large sediment trap, we're not worried about the sediment. We have 2 perforated pipes at the bottom that are 4 inches in diameter. The reason why we build our French drains like this, when you hold to this tolerance, you end up with a better French drain, a much better French drain than just a single pipe. Then we have a solid pipe that we tape up every connection because we want to grab all that surface water, but we want to flow that surface water all the way to the sump pump system. To have the yard drain fit inside the French drain, you cut the French drain pipe at the bottom to make room for the sediment trap. Because you have a 2-pipe system, this is not going to compromise your French drain system. The reason why we have 2 pipes is so that we have a lot of air. We want to air prune any tree or shrub roots that might get in the system. You can see the risers. We add the risers to the 6-inch catch basin as we have more slope. You have to tape all the connections on your solid pipe for your yard drain. The inline catch basin is on a solid pipe, and every single connection must be taped. You can't have it leaking into the French drain. Because you're going to have grass blades and different things that get inside the system, you want to be able to float that all the way to your sump pump. Your sump pump's going to handle grass blades. That's not going to be an issue. Make sure when you backfill, you go ahead and put a piece of fabric over your 6-inch grate. That way you won't get any stone inside your grate. If you're going to drive a car over your French drain system, you're going to have to backfill with stone. And I'm going to recommend that you backfill with a large stone because you're trying to create as many air pockets as you possibly can. If you have a lot of air space, tree roots and shrub roots can't grow in it. Now, if you're not going to be driving vehicles over it, I'm going to strongly recommend that you use this filter media. It is not achievable to get this much airspace with stone. The airspace that we're gaining by using this filter media is unmatched to any backfill that you can use with stone. I strongly recommend it if you're not driving vehicles over it. We have 2 perforated blue pipes in 4-inch at the bottom for our French drain system. We have 1 solid blue pipe for the yard drain in 4-inch. Then we have the virgin white pipe, no recycled materials, all virgin. We have the 3-inch filter media that we're using. And in this example, this section of the French drain, at this depth, we have 4 of those pipes. Keep in mind, with the price of diesel fuel and it's been holding, it hasn't been coming down, you mine stone with diesel fuel. You screen stone with diesel fuel. You wash stone with diesel fuel, and then you deliver stone with diesel fuel. The bottom line, you're going to build a more economical, cost-effective drain using a good filter media. You're going to end up with a better French drain because of the added airspace that you're creating. And if you're DIYing this, you're not wheelbarrowing all that stone. The only stone that you're going to have to wheelbarrow is the top 3 inches of stone. Just use a 3/4 inch stone. I don't care what it is. It could be crushed stone. It could be round rock. In our case here, in this example, we have 3/4 inch round rock. We're still going to have good filtration. We're going to have good drainage. We're going to tighten up all that piping with this finer stone, and the grass roots can grow through our double punch fabric into the 3 inches of stone, and it's not going to air prune the grass roots off. This is a 2-yard system. We're showing you the first yard, and we still got to finish up the second yard. This trench gets deeper and deeper. As we wind through these 2 yards, we're adding slope toward the bottom of our trench. We want the water to flow freely all the way to the sump pump system. We're going to take all of this to an outdoor sump pump system, and then we're going to pump it up and out to the front yard. The only way a system like this dries out a yard, and the only way it works, is if you run it through the lowest points of the yard, and that's going to be where you have standing water. After a hard rain, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know as far as how to lay out your yard drain system. You run that right through the heart of the problem. We're at 32 inches deep, and we're really close to where the sump pump system's going to be. Now, how do you determine whether you want 1% slope on your system or 2% slope? It depends on the length your system is. If you have a really long system, I don't see how you can go 2%. In most cases, you're going to be so deep, it's not realistic to dig 6, 7, 8 feet deep for an outdoor sump pump system. That's not realistic. Remember, always put your perforated pipe on the bottom. Our French drain is at the bottom. That's where the perforated pipe is. On top of that perforated pipe is a yard drain. That's the solid pipe that merges. But you can see the perforated pipe that has holes in it is at the bottom. Keep in mind, as your trench gets deeper, your 6-inch catch basins are going to end up deeper. These inline sediment traps that you're going to have collecting all that water, they're going to get deeper. So you're going to have to add risers. The deeper you go, the more risers you'll need. So you'll start out with 1 riser, and then you'll go to 2 risers, and so on. Every time the trench gets a little deeper, you'll be adding a riser. It's a super easy system. You don't need any tools. Slip fit doesn't get any easier than this. Make sure you leave that grate a little low because you want it to catch all the water. That's why a sink or a bathtub has a drain in the lowest point. Same reason, so that there's not any water left behind. Make sure your 6-inch grate is a little lower than the grade around it. This inline sediment trap needed 4 risers. Each riser is 1.5 inches. This needed to be lifted 6 inches to bring it just below grade. No tools required. These flanges, these rings on these risers, that's what holds it in place. It gets caught up on the backfill. It gets caught up on the stone or the dirt that you backfill these inline sediment traps with. It's super easy to take the grate off and clean these sediment traps out. There's no screwdrivers. There's no tools needed. Comes apart and snaps together. Super easy. We took our 35 plus years of experience and we put it into each and every part that we designed for the system. We wanted to make sure that it was easy to assemble, and we wanted to make sure it was easy to maintain. Now, keep in mind that your outdoor sump pump system needs to be a foot deeper than your trench. So however deep you ended up at the end of your trench, you want to dig the hole 1 foot deeper. Let me explain why this is so important. If your sump pump system is sitting at the same level as your trench, and it's not deeper than your trench, you're going to fill your trench up with water before your sump pump turns on. It usually takes 10 inches of water to trigger the float on a sump pump system. So what can potentially happen if your sump pump was at the same height as your trench is you can end up with 6, 7, 8 inches of water left in your trench after a rain. Now, trees and shrub roots that are designed to seek out water will find that water and take out your French drain system. This is a great cutaway of the top of this French drain system. We have 3 inches of 3/4 inch stone, and this locks together all that tubing. It holds it all in place. It also gives the grass roots a place to grow. Leave your stone 3 inches shallow so you have room to put your sod back. You want to cut your sod off with 3 inches of dirt. Do not fill in any of the low areas. These low areas are great. These are the collection areas. I love when I have a yard that's set up like this. The water is away from all the structures. If you fill in these low areas, you're going to chase the water back up to the structures. I see it all the time. If all you wanted to do is get rid of the standing water, that's all you cared about was the standing water, then take out the perforated pipe, take out the filter media, take out the stone, take out the fabric, and just run a solid pipe through all those low points with the inline sediment traps, and just keep dropping them so that you have slope. Every time you add a catch basin, an inline sediment trap, you put another riser on it. That way you're guaranteed to have slope, and then just put a sump pump system at the end of the line. The reasons why you would consider a French drain system with your yard drain is because after the bulk water is moved, the yard is going to be spongy and squishy. If you have children and you have pets, or if you want to go out and mow that grass the next day, you're going to want to consider the French drain system. The perforated pipe is what tightens the yard up. When you cut the fabric out around the 6-inch catch basins, make sure that you cut that a little small, as if it was for a 4-inch round circle drain and not a 6-inch round circle drain. That way you have some fabric to tuck underneath it. This is for best results. The grass is going to grow right through that fabric into the stone, and the grass roots are going to survive, and it's going to thrive. Look at this yard that we finished. This crew is amazing. This is the after all that construction and installation, all that excavation. The men recessed this French drain system. They recessed it so there was room to put the turf grass back. And the 6-inch catch basins are lower than the turf grass, so all the water is going to be drawn to those low points. This is a beautiful system done by a team of professionals. Now, if you live in the north, you do not want to put a check valve in your outdoor sump pump system because that's going to hold water in the line and it's going to freeze and it's going to split the line during the wintertime. You want to go uphill gradually and then come back down. Ideally, you don't want to put this underground. You don't want to run it to a pop-up in the north if you can avoid it, because more than likely, that's going to freeze up come wintertime. If you can run it down the side of the garage or house or fence and then let the water just drop and run across the green belt out into the street, let it dissipate. This is the best practice for running an outdoor sump pump discharge line in the north. Considering this yard was a muddy swamp when we got here, the men did a wonderful job piecing this back together. In no time, this grass is going to knit together at the seams. After a rain or a watering, any dirt that's on the grass blades will be cleaned off. It'll be really hard to tell that the men were even here. Now make sure when you're trimming your fabric that you don't have a heavy overlap. Remember, our fabric is double punched. It has all these needle punched holes in it for better drainage. If you overlap it, those holes cannot line up. So you're not going to get the same results with the grass roots growing through it and the water filtrating through it. The men are using 6-inch fabric pins. They're using a rubber mallet to drive them in. This is going to serve you well. It's a lot better than pushing them in by hand. Now at the discharge end of your sump pump system, make sure you add about 5 feet of a larger diameter pipe. If you're using an 1.5 inch discharge, like we are in this example, you want to go to a 3-inch pipe for the last 5 feet of your discharge. The water is going to spread in the displacement of the larger pipe, and it's going to mellow it out. We like to put a splash block right where the water breaks, just so that we can avoid any erosion issues. Now remember, during a rain, you're going to have water coming off the roof, you're going to have water coming out of the downspouts, you're going to have water pouring down the driveway, there's going to be water running down the street, there's going to be a small river running down the street curb, so nobody's going to take notice to this. That's not what's going to happen. You're not going to have any issues with neighbors. This is not a site violation of any kind. Matter of fact, we're far off the road the way they want us to discharge water. Many villages, townships, and cities want you to discharge the water, allow it to dissipate throughout a green belt prior to making it to the storm drains. That's how the code books are written in a lot of cities, townships, and villages. The guys did a beautiful job running this right over top of a gutter downspout. Real clean job, put together the landscape, put together the yard, just did a really amazing job. This is truly a professional crew. They've been working together for many, many years. They have a lot of experience and they are good trade hands. This 2-yard system where these neighbors worked together to build this yard drain system and use just one sump pump system took us a day to put in. The men were very efficient. They came in with a game plan. They executed. If you do everything in the right order, you can very efficiently perform an installation like this. Keep in mind, this crew never double handled any of the dirt. As soon as you start double handling dirt, you just turn this job and this project into something much bigger, and you're going to regret it. If you were putting all this dirt, all the spoils in the pile at the apron of your driveway, and later on you were going to borrow a friend's trailer, or you're going to hire somebody to come and pick this dirt up, it always becomes way more work when you do that. Don't dig it out of the trench and lay it next to the trench either. Same thing. You end up handling the dirt twice or 3 times. Make sure you take that dirt as you remove it shovel by shovel and you wheelbarrow it right up into the trailer. If you found any of this information helpful, give us a thumbs up. It supports our channel. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until that next video,